Hello, my name's Sasha and I would like to introduce you to my candidate Will. Will is currently a lead .NET developer at IGS. And over to you, Will. What are your favourite technologies at the moment and why?
So my favourite technologies at the moment, I've got 4 in total. Firstly is Xamarin Forms. Xamarin Forms has obviously been taken over from a previous company called Mono. It's essentially to create cross-platform apps using a shared UI and logic base. Previously with Xamarin, you could only share logic between your different iOS and Android applications, whereas now you can also share the UI, which is pretty cool. As well as that, the amount of packages and plugins that are being created for Xamarin Forms is amazing. The community is growing every day, and it's kind of pioneering where apps are going in the future. A lot of companies are starting to use Xamarin Forms now because you don't have to pay for an iOS and an Android developer. You can just pay for a C# developer. So it's a really exciting technology there and quite exciting times. Another is AngularJS. So Angular combined with a technology called TypeScript makes it feel like it's C# MVC, but with two-way data binding, which to any web developer is like music to your ears, especially if you're working with .NET, because it essentially, because pages are rendered server-side, it's pretty much impossible to do two-way data binding. So yeah, that's pretty cool. As well as that, you've got .NET Core. So .NET Core has obviously been recently released, along with .NET Standard. The ability to have more hosting options makes it a lot more flexible to deploy anywhere, rather than being restricted to a Windows server with Microsoft SQL. And then as well as that, you're not restricted to a Windows program on. So if you have a Mac, then you can almost create a full suite of applications straight from the mobile application to the web application on your Mac without relying on a Windows computer. Pretty cool. As well as that, you've got some extra bits and bobs such as dependency injection out of the box and without having to rely on third-party sources, which is pretty cool. And then as well as that, I've got Microsoft Azure, which is kind of pioneering the cloud development and kind of deployment process. Pretty cool. I've used Amazon Web Services and Azure, definitely prefer Azure, so yeah, they're my 4.
Okay, perfect. So could you walk me through in detail a project that you're most proud of and your involvement in that project?
Sure. So I did a project for a motorsport company in the back end of last year. What that was is I was tasked with creating 2 Android applications for tablets. Essentially, the whole concept of the project was to create an experience for their visitors to the event. So essentially, a visitor will be able to go up to this stand, they'll be able to sign up for the experience and complete certain challenges. So they'd have an endurance challenge where they'd go on a bike and they'd measure their endurance against these motorsport drivers. And they calculate stuff like their height, weight, and neck measurements. They'd take pictures of them and they'd get their signatures and all those kinds of stuff to sign them up to this overall experience, if you like. And then from that, we had a lot of complex kind of maths formulas in the background, which were then creating a end result in a web view, which people could share on social media, and it had a picture of them and all their results from the event, which was kind of cool. All of it was emailed out as well to them once they'd completed the whole experience, which was really cool. And it was one of those where it was done for kind of such a such a high-profile client. It was really quite cool to see it all come together, especially when you had the racing drivers themselves actually using it and seeing what they were getting, comparing it to like myself when I was testing through it. So that was a really kind of proud moment for me in my development career. And then it wasn't like it was just used on one site. It was used on multiple events throughout the end of last year, which was really cool to see it go across the country. So yeah.
Perfect. So if you could explain to me what your ideal role is that you're looking for moving forward.
Sure. So my ideal role looking forward is that I'm looking to grow as a developer more than anything. So from my current position, I've gone all the way from being a developer to leading a team of developers and being hands-on developer. I'd like to kind of take a step back to get back to just focusing on myself as a developer. Learning how everybody else kind of goes about development, learning about how different teams go about development, and then from that, being able to be then better prepared for when I go into these new environments to then, at some point lead again. But as I say, at the moment, it's one of those where I'd like to be able to keep up to date with the latest advancements because stuff's advancing so quickly at the moment that I feel like if I can spend a large proportion of my time actually working hands-on, that'd be a lot better for me. In terms of tech, I'm more than open to both web and mobile. It makes me quite a versatile developer in that sense. I enjoy both of them equally. I've more experience in web. However, I have created a lot of mobile applications in a short amount of time for some pretty big projects and clients. So I think that also shows how quickly I can pick up things as well. And typically when working on a solution that requires web and mobile applications to it, I'm not just creating the mobile or just creating the web. I'm creating everything, and that's the database as well. So I'm quite well versed in the front end and back end sides to development. So that's kind of another part to it. And then also with if I was to go to a mobile role, for example, I'd be looking for somewhere that would facilitate me to perform in Xamarin Forms or any part of the Xamarin technology stack. I just find that just pretty exciting kind of ecosystem at the moment. And if I was to go to web, a company that's promoting a kind of theme of these new front-end kind of frameworks like Angular, integrating it with like TypeScript, and then hooking it all up with a .NET backend would be really cool. Obviously, they're just desirables, but yeah, that'd be kind of the ideal role.
Okay, not a problem. So you kind of spoke a little bit about it towards the end there, but what would be the ideal company that you'd be looking for? What kind of company is it that you would look for going forward?
Sure. So it's not so much, I think, the sector that I'd be looking for. I think the main things for the company is that it has to recognize it has to invest in its development team. So I think one of the key things is when a development team's got the right tools and the right resources needed to learn, to grow, and to do their job to the best of their ability, you get a lot better results and a lot better quality out of that team. As well as that, having that proper team environment, bringing everybody together through meetings and company events and everything else is something that's quite a big desirable as well. I think it just brings everybody together and makes that team atmosphere that little bit better. Nothing, then yeah, pretty much good to go.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you for your time this morning, Will. And that concludes the outro.